Hi, and thanks for tuning in to Let's Talk Energy, where we discuss all things energy on Maui, Molokai, and Lanai. I'm Shayna Decker with Maui Electric and today's host. As your energy partner, we're always looking for more ways to provide options and new programs that work for your energy needs. Programs like time of use, customer grid supply, and smart export are all programs that we offer. But how do you determine which one is best for you? In the studio today, we have Amy Ederling, a Distributed Energy Program Administrator at Maui Electric. She's here to discuss the different programs we have and how some of these programs use solar systems that interact with the overall grid. Thanks, Amy, for being here today.
Thank you.
So, we talk about the grid. First of all, what is this grid when we talk about that?
Well, the way I like to describe the grid is, the Maui Electric grid is all of the equipment, all of the poles that you see on the roads, it's all of the wires, it's all of the equipment that helps Maui Electric deliver power to your home.
So it's all of our infrastructure that gets the power to the places it needs to go,
yes.
The homes, the businesses.
Homes and businesses, yes.
Everything. And so we do have a lot of programs that we try to offer to our customers, and some of them are newer programs that deal with solar energy.
Yes.
So what kind of programs right now do we offer?
Well, I just want to mention that, we started a long time ago when renewable energy first became available on Maui with just a couple of programs. We had the NEM program, which most people are familiar with, and then we also had an SIA program, which was, meant for a little bit larger commercial projects.
Right, and so NEM was net energy metering.
It was net energy metering.
And then SIA is?
Standard Interconnection Agreement.
Okay.
Yeah, and so those were the basics. That's kind of where we started, and we had those for quite a lot of years. And then that gave people the opportunity to be able to install, and then other people found out about it from their friends and the family, and the benefits that were happening with their bills, and the advantages that gave them, and also, just the advantage of having more renewables here on our island.
Right.
So that led to exponential growth in our numbers for renewable energy. Big increases, and that really led to the need to kind of restructure things a little bit, and the PUC took that and decided that was the way to go, and so we've developed some new programs. I would categorize our new programs maybe in two different ways. There's a set of them that are allowed to export,
right,
and a set of them that are non-export. So export means that when your solar system is on and it's served all of the loads in your home, right? It's already providing the power it takes to run your air conditioner and your refrigerator, but it still has more energy, it has extra energy. It can take that energy and send it back to the grid, or even into a battery if you have a battery on your home and you can store that power for use later. That would be an export system. Some of the programs that allow an export system are our Customer Grid Supply, our Customer Grid Supply Plus, and Smart Export.
Okay.
And those are all a little bit different. It would be hard to break down into those completely just because there are so many differences and variables that can affect the customer.
But we do have that information all on our website.
All of that information on our website. You can call us, we'll help work you through it. Yes, absolutely. So then I would go to the other type of program. We talked about export, so now we'll talk about non-export. Non-export is the kind of system that you install in your home, and the system itself then limits through advanced inverters the system, your PV system, from being able to send any extra energy back into the grid. So you can build that system to just the size of the energy that you're going to use during the day, or you can add a battery to your system, make it a little bit bigger, and then use any extra energy, again, that your home doesn't already use, send it into the battery, and then be able to use that during the evening. So that's our CSS program. And I would
Customer Self-Supply.
Customer Self-Supply. Yes, we all get so used to using these acronyms, it takes a minute, yes. Customer Self-Supply is really our main non-export one, and one that kind of falls into that category but isn't really non-export is the SIA that we mentioned a little bit ago. The SIA is the kind of system that is intended for large commercial projects, or even maybe really large residential, but mainly large commercial projects where they're going to use all of that power from the entire PV system that they're installing on site, and then maybe even still need more power from the utility at the same time off of the grid.
So for the non-export, that's typically like an energy storage type system that they have like a battery installed at their property.
It is. You can also use a battery with an export system, depending on the combination that you choose. But definitely in a non-export situation, a battery would be very helpful.
Okay, well that's great to know about all those different types of programs, and I know we do offer that again on our MauiElectric.com website.
We do.
And so if I'm looking and I'm trying to shop around and I'm talking to different solar contractors, and we're ready to do the application, what does that timeline process look like?
Well, the timeline can vary a little bit. You know, I think we've mentioned that before in the past. Once a customer has selected the program that they want to use and maybe the contractor, then they can go ahead and generally the contractor will do this for the customer, but they can go ahead and submit the application for the program. Right now, most of the programs that we have, we can actually do online, which is great, and most of the programs that will come in the future will also be in that online tool. So that's great. It's increasing the response time and making the overall application time a little bit shorter.
Right.
So once they're able to submit the application to Maui Electric, we'll begin a review process. We need to do some technical reviews. We need to review the circuit and all of the information related to the equipment on the project, things like that. And once we're done with that, then hopefully you get a conditional approval. And depending on the circuit situation, the completeness of the submission, and any other issues that we might find, you could have approval anywhere from 2 weeks to a few weeks. And if there are really some significant issues on the circuit, it could take a little bit longer
for that evaluation to take place. So, once you get the system fully installed and it's producing energy, how does that system again interact with that Maui Electric grid that we talked about?
So the system, a PV system really is designed to serve the loads at your own home first. So it's going to take the energy that it's creating and first serve everything that is powered on in your home right now. And then any extra energy it's going to take from your system and then transfer that to the Maui Electric grid. And we're going to keep track of the amount of extra energy you're able to send back to us.
And that's through a different type of meter that we would give to those participating.
Yes, and those meters
customers
are different depending on the program again. So there are a lot of variables there with those different programs, but yeah, it's just a meter.
Yeah. And so we do get a lot of customer comments when they first get maybe the solar system installed and they wonder how the output of their solar energy is producing, how that affects their PV system. Like what can affect their PV system from doing maximum output or maximum energy production?
So if your system you find maybe isn't performing as well as you hope it would, there are a couple of things that you can consider. One big thing is the weather. How has the weather been lately? Recently we've had a lot of fog issues.
Right.
It could be cloudy days, could be rainy. Those are all things that really affect your performance immediately and for random amounts of time. Another thing is it's really a high-tech piece of equipment and it's important to keep it clean. So if you live in Kihei and you're in the dust storms down there, then your system may not be performing as well if it's not really fully clean and able to completely absorb the sun that's coming through.
So if you see adjustments month to month, that could be something to look at, whether it's cleaning it or maybe the weather impacts that happen that month, more cloud coverage that month.
Definitely. And then another thing just to keep an eye on really is trees. Trees grow here like crazy, and if you notice that a tree is starting to maybe shade part of the system, you just want to go trim it, take care of that system and make sure it's working to its optimum so you get the best advantage out of it.
Right, it's open completely, so there's nothing shading it.
Yes.
Yeah, and we know for some families, solar PV can be a little expensive and costly. So what other options would you recommend for folks who solar may not be an option at this point?
If you want to save money on your bill and solar really isn't an option, I would first offer something that I do already offer to people who are interested in PV because it's a great option no matter what. And that is to install a solar hot water system. Heating anything is one of the biggest costs, on our electric bills, and heating water is really it can be a significant issue, especially in a family of multiple people. You got lots of showers and lots of dishes and things going going on and you need hot water to do that. So that's one of the really first things I ask people, well, have you done this yet?
Right.
You know, if you're considering a solar system, that's wonderful, do that. But do this first, you know, because that's really going to change maybe how big of a system you need, or, you know, how much more money you're going to need to outlay really to get the result you're looking for. Right,
to take that first step. And then we know that Hawaii Energy also offers great rebates on solar water heaters. So that's a good thing to look at.
Definitely.
And so, you know, we always hear this question too. And so because we're covering solar, we kind of want to help people out there who might be wondering, you know, why did that net energy metering or NEM program, why did that retire or close?
Well, you know, I mentioned earlier that net metering was one of the very first programs that was available in 2000.
Right,
yeah,
very
so
early.
It's been it was around for a long time. It was closed in October of 2015, and that was because it was
such a popular,
such a successful program, and that's great, but that also means that we had exponential growth and just so much more PV on our system as a result of that, that we really need to look at some other options of other types of programs, things that are a little bit safer on the grid, that are a little bit more fair between different types of customers, things like that. So the PUC, you know, decided to open a couple of new programs, and since then we've opened a couple more, and then maybe even more. So it's good because you know, there was only one option, and now there are lots of different options, and we're really trying to serve the need
of all the different types of customers out there.
Yeah, it's more market-based now.
Yeah. No, it's very exciting, and like all things, it's kind of an evolution, right?
It is, yes.
So as we move into the forward with different programs, you know, what kinds of new programs can we expect to hear coming up?
Well, there's one new program that is coming out that has quite high level of interest, and we're calling it NEM Plus right now. It's a program that isn't quite ready or available to apply to, but it will be coming soon. And it is a program whereby any existing NEM customer may be able to do things like add a battery or add some additional panels. They wouldn't be able to increase their overall system size, so it's not about trying to send more out into the Maui Electric grid. It's more about making more energy on your own system to use in your own home.
For your own
use, and maybe if you add a battery, you're doing some sort of combination that, you know, over time is really going to benefit you.
Right. So that's kind of exciting for
it
folks who have existing
yes.
solar systems at their houses.
And coming soon.
Right, we'll be anticipating that. So thanks so much for the good information.
Sure.
Thank you for joining us again, and we hope to see you back very soon.
Great.
Stick around. We'll be hearing from David Vela, our customer service department, to discuss some commonly asked questions. Stay tuned. We'll be back after this short break. Welcome back to Let's Talk Energy, where we discuss all things energy on Maui, Molokai, and Lanai. In this segment, we wanted to take some time to answer some of the common questions our customer service representatives hear throughout the day. Here to help those questions is David Vela, our Director of Customer Service Accounts at Maui Electric. So David, some of the most common questions that we often hear is, why is my bill so high?
Yeah, we often hear this quite a few times every day in our call centers. So almost 50% of your bill is actually from fuel costs. And so the cost of fuel is one of the most significant impacts on your bill. And the more you use, more electric you use, the higher your fuel costs are going to be. Now, Maui Electric does not actually make any profit on fuel, so we pass the price of fuel directly to our customers. This does mean that if the cost of fuel goes up, then the actual cost of fuel on your bill will reflect higher charges. But this also means that when the price of fuel goes down, we also do lower your charges on your bill.
Right, so it fluctuates.
So it does fluctuate quite a bit. As we know, just like the cost of gas, it goes up, it goes down. Summer months, it can be a lot higher. But many other things have an impact on your bill as well. So the amount of people in your house really makes a huge difference. As Amy mentioned, the hot water heater is one of the biggest uses of electricity in your house. So the more people taking showers, the more dishes you're doing, the more you use laundry, this definitely increases the amount of electricity used in a month. And then the next thing is the weather. It's really hot lately, so a lot of people are running their air conditioner more frequently. They may turn on more fans, and this definitely increases the cost of your monthly bill just from using more electricity. And lastly, the thing that a lot of customers ask is, why is my bill fluctuate? I use the same every day, right? And then now my bill's higher this month than it was last month. And that can be because the actual length of your bill, your billing cycle as we call it, fluctuates. It can be anywhere from 27 to 33 days in a month because we read the meters not the same day every month. We read the meter whenever we're able to get back to that area, but it has to be within 27 or 33 days.
Right.
So your bill may have 33 days on it this month, and then next month it may only be 27 days, and the difference can be quite a bit between those 5 days.
Right. And we are always looking to help our customers, and so we do really have some helpful energy conservation tips. I know on our website, mauielectric.com, that kind of talks about how they can switch out maybe to a solar water heater, or maybe look at different appliances, whether it be like the Energy Star appliances, right, for air conditioning units.
Yes, that definitely helps. A solar hot water heater is one of the best investments you can make on your house, because a typical household, your hot water heater makes up about 30 to 40% of your bill.
Wow.
So it's definitely the best investment you can make to save cost on your electric bill.
Right. And energy cooling, we have different tips online that also tells customers, even planting different trees in different parts of outside of your house can help cool, maybe instead of trying to use the air conditioning, right?
Yeah, shade definitely helps. If you can cool parts of your house so it doesn't get so hot during the day, you won't have to run your AC or won't have to turn on those fans at night as much.
Right. Well, and then, we did talk a little bit about this earlier about how different things in our homes consume different energy, right?
Yes.
So some things use more energy than others, like the water heater.
Yeah.
What other types of appliances should we be looking at?
Besides the hot water heater, which uses, as I mentioned, probably the most, other appliances that use 220 volt electric, which would be things like central air units, your oven, your range, your stovetop that uses a lot of electricity. If you are lucky enough to have a pool or jacuzzi, those are huge users of electricity. The pumps and everything that it's hooked up. So anything that has a direct line that's plugged in to the 220 is going to use quite a bit of electricity. And then other devices that are on all the time. So your refrigerator, your freezer, those use a lot of electricity as well.
And things I learned about, that's surprising, that most people don't think about, is those phantom loads. And that's what we call, like, when you plug in computers or maybe like phone chargers and they're inactive.
Yes.
And those still use energy.
Yeah, everything that is waiting to be turned on is still drawing power. So even if your TV is off, your LCD TV, it's waiting to be turned on, so it has to keep some sort of power running to the device. Otherwise it would take a long time, or the remote wouldn't work because
so that's why we tell folks, it's great to get power strips, so you can plug in a lot of different devices and then you just turn it off to completely shut off that energy, so it's not consuming. And
one thing that would also help, mentioning turning things on and off, is if you can't get a solar water heater, often what we recommend is you may want to look into getting a timer for your hot water heater if it's not solar. That way you can set it so it only comes on at certain times.
Right.
Otherwise it's running all the time in order to maintain that temperature in your water. So if you get a timer, you can set it, and that definitely can save quite a bit of cost. We do recommend that you have an electrician install those timing devices, because it is 220 volt electricity, and so it's not, you can't just plug it in. It usually has to be wired into the plug for the timers. So
safety, very important.
Yeah, safety first.
So another customer question that I know that you guys get a lot is, can you tell me how much electricity I used on this particular day?
Yeah.
And so how do you help people do that?
Yeah, since we read your meter once a month, so we don't actually see what your individual day-to-day usage is like. We read the meter, and we take what was read last time and subtract it from what's read this time, and then that's how much kWh you've used or kilowatt hours you've used since your last billing period. Because we only read it once a month, all we can see is the total, and then we take that and we divide it by the number of days in your billing cycle in order to calculate your average daily consumption. Of course, you could be gone for 10 days, you're on vacation, and your appliances are still on, so they're still running. So you're still going to have a bill for that month, regardless if you were gone the whole month, because you still have all these appliances running. And we can only give you totals based on the total month. So you're still going to see some sort of usage as your average kWh per day.
Okay. So some of these programs, we want to let people know about is that it can actually help with their bill. So what are some of those programs?
Yeah, so we offer a couple programs. The first program we offer is our special medical needs rate, which is a program for anyone who uses any kind of life-saving equipment at home, or even if you need, air conditioning or heating during the day or night for any kind of medical condition. So that program gives you a discounted rate on the first 500 kilowatt hours used in a month. So this can give you a discount of up to $20 per month, as well as it flags your account that you need life-saving equipment. So that's a good thing for anyone who needs this equipment.
Right.
It's a good thing to go to your doctor. We have forms on our website. You can sign up. You can enroll in the special medical needs program, which will give you a discount. Plus, we'll flag your account that you have this life-saving equipment. This helps us whenever we have outages, so we know which areas are affected.
And we can communicate with you.
Yeah, so we can make sure that you have some other options available.
Great.
When the power's out. We also do have another program called the Ohana Gift Program. It's a donation-based program, so people can donate to a fund, and we'll use that fund to help out customers in need at that time. It's a great program, so the Ohana Gift Energy Program. It's available on our website, so if you wanted to donate money, you can help out someone who's in need.
Right, who's going through a tough time.
Yeah.
Well, those are very helpful programs. Thank you so much, David, for
No problem.
here with us today and talking more about the customer questions that we get often. So if you have any other questions for us, please feel free to send your questions, comments, or ideas for future topics to letstalkenergy@mauielectric.com. Before we end our episode, we'd like to introduce you to one of our diesel operators at the Ma'alaya Power Plant, Dusten Dudoit. Here's getting to know Miko.
Hi, I'm Dusten Dudoit. I work at Maui Power Plant. I've been here since 2012, and I'm a diesel operator. And I basically just start up the generators and shut them down as the system needs and doesn't need any more power on the grid. I was born in Molokai, then I moved to Maui at a young age, maybe like elementary. Then I stayed here until I graduated from Kinke Kaulike Upcountry, and then right after high school I went to the Army, and then came back, and then met my wife. We have 4 kids, 2 daughters and 2 boys. The kids play sports, and on our free time, I would like to go fishing, a lot of fishing. I like this job because I know what I do directly affects the community. I have to know what I'm doing in order to keep the power on. The most challenging part is the shift work here because somebody has to be here 24 hours, so getting used to different schedules is the hardest part. There's a lot of work that goes into making power and getting it to the people. You don't really think about it because all you do is flip a light switch, but there's a lot that goes on. You have to be a self-starter for this job because you're by yourself a lot, so you kind of just gotta do what you gotta do and know what you're doing. I'm most grateful for my family and having a job like this where I get to do different things and have a great job, That's important for the community. Aloha, I'm Dusten, and thank you for getting to know me.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Let's Talk Energy. You can learn more about our current customer programs by visiting MauiElectric.com. And as always, we want to hear from you. So if you have any energy-related questions or future topic ideas, drop us a line at letstalkenergy@MauiElectric.com. This episode will repeat every Tuesday right here at 8 p.m. on Akaku Channel 55, with a new episode on the first Tuesday of every month. Thanks again, and we look forward to talking energy with you next time.